They feel like on more occasions than not, they end up mothering their man. What's up, family? Welcome back. Today we're going to slide over to TikTok and check out Align with Allison. Today she'll be talking about why there's a lack of femininity in the modern woman. Let's get into it.
So I made a post last week in regards to the lack of femininity in the modern woman, right? And I had a lot of guys agree, so I hope that they agree with part two. I think there's a valuable conversation around why the modern woman, so to speak, seems to be behaving in a more masculine than feminine way. And I would assert a lot of it has to do with the lack of masculinity in the modern man.
So the first thing she mentions is that there's a lack of masculinity in the modern man. So I think it'd be helpful if we try to define what masculinity is. As far as I'm concerned, masculinity is a man who embraces responsibility, protects, provides for his family, has a strong character. Okay? So let's keep that in mind as we go forward.
There's a lot of conversation about allowing men to lead. However, I don't think there's enough fair conversation about teaching men how to lead properly so that women feel comfortable letting go and allowing them to take the wheel.
So now she's talking about being a leader, right? So the first question we have to ask is having leadership qualities part and parcel to being a masculine man? And for when it comes to relationships, I would say yes. In a general sense, a woman or a man can be a leader in their own right. But we're talking about, we have to be clear, we're discussing within a traditional relationship or a relationship in and of itself. So in that respect, again, the man should be leading in the relationship. Same way it gets to talking about dancing, there's got to be someone to lead. Typically, it's the man that leads when it comes to dancing. So that's how I feel when it comes to relationships. So with that being said, what exactly is a leader? In my opinion, a leader is someone who takes responsibility, makes decisions, and is accountable for those decisions, whatever the outcome, good or bad. Okay, keep that in mind.
We have a generation of men who are full of excuses, whose parents coddled them, who don't hold their friends and their loved ones accountable when they see that they're doing some bullshit, and then you're surprised when women don't want to follow.
Okay, now she gives a list of reasons why she believes that men are lacking in masculinity and leadership skills. So let's touch on that. Full of excuses. Well, the excuses that she's bringing up I think are fear-based. In my experience, going through a few failed relationships, I learned the hard way that I was making excuses all the time rather than taking the responsibility, taking the hints that my woman was giving me and stepping up to the plate and being more present and more responsible in the relationship. My excuses were because I was afraid. I had a lot of insecurities that I was dealing with at the time. I was very immature, didn't really have a good concept or good ground understanding of what it meant to be a man, let alone a father or a husband. As far as parents coddling them, coddling in this particular sense, I would say is that the man doesn't have any bearing about taking care of himself. He's been spoiled, for lack of a better word, most of his life. His parents or his mother, as is typically the case, has done all the work for him. He doesn't know what it means to wash a dish, wash clothes, pick up after himself. So he goes into a relationship expecting that the woman will then take on all these invisible tasks. Guys not holding each other accountable. That's something that's you try to avoid. I can't speak for all men. I speak for myself. I keep my circle of friends very tight, and in my circle of friends are people that I know are going to call me on my shit. I don't like the idea of being around people that are only going to validate my behavior, good or bad. So it's good to always surround yourself with men or guys or friends rather that are going to tell you the truth if you ask them. Now, the other thing to take into consideration is that men oftentimes have a hard time expressing themselves. And especially when it comes talking to other men, it's not always easy for us to open up. Like, for example, if I come to one of my friends and say, hey, man, my girl's cheating or my girl's doing something crazy, she's tripping or whatever, then the guy's going to be like, well, I'm sorry. It sucks to hear that, bro. But, whatever. It's not going to be an involved conversation per se, depending on the type of friend that person is. Luckily for me, I have friends that are going to pry and ask questions and try to get to the root of it because we have those kind of conversations. But not every man is surrounded by friends that have that going on. So I definitely encourage for the guys that are listening, make sure that your friends are not going to sit around and validate you. They're going to tell you the truth and point out when you fucking up so you know how to get better and be better.
Prides when women don't want to follow. If I believe I had the right answers, I wouldn't follow you neither. So to be fair, I think there needs to be conversations on both sides in order to strengthen the relationship amongst us all.
And I agree. She's right. We need to have more conversations about that. The problem is that it's just very hard to yell over top of each other, right? And I think that the conversation begins with understanding where men can get leadership training so that they can be more prepared to be in a relationship. I can speak for myself. I had to learn the hard way through the school of hard knocks, how to be a better man and a better husband, better partner, rather. So I think that today, in today's world, we need to have more mentors out there that can guide young men into understand the importance of having leadership qualities. That way, they know off the break what to expect. So there's no confusion when they get into a relationship and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then it's beneficial to the women who, God bless y'all. I know that you want to give us the reins, but you're afraid to do that because you don't have the confidence that we can handle the reins. And that's fair. Let's just be honest. That's fair. But I think that we have to move to a situation where again, like I said, more of our young men are trained better. I feel like a lot of the problem that we're dealing with today with this conversation is just what's, like she said, women are not confident enough to trust that their man is going to take the reins of the relationship and make decisions. They feel like on more occasions than not, they end up mothering their man. And again, using myself as an example, I was in a marriage where I was not mature, and my ex-wife now, but my wife was mothering me, trying to get me to be more present. And I was just being stubborn and not listening to what she was saying and not picking up on the hints that she just wanted me to be more responsible in the relationship. And hindsight is always 20/20, right? But you understand coming out of it and taking the time to heal from it and learn the lessons, then you realize that, okay, so she was only trying to guide me in the right way, but I wasn't picking up on it. It's unfortunate and it happens in life, but sometimes you got to bump your head to learn the lesson. Shout out to Align with Allison for some great content. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the conversation. How would you define masculinity, and why do you think there's a lack of leadership in the modern man? I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did so, please click the like button below. And before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you know every time I upload new content. Until next time, stay well. Peace.